Unscripted.
When it comes to fully understanding what these consoles are capable of, we might not know for a little while yet. While it remains to be seen exactly what kind of level of fidelities and graphical settings and things like that we'll be able to get, I thought it would be fun to kind of go over two of the better looking games that we've seen, even though one of them is just in-engine, which would be the Hellblade 2 on the Xbox Series X. I thought it'd be fun to match them up because so far a lot of people are saying, and surprisingly, that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is the best graphical game and best graphical showpiece that they've seen, the best game graphics they've ever seen. And I have to kind of stick by that, but I did go back and I looked at the Hellblade 2 reveal, which came a couple years ago, and the in-engine stuff looks pretty insane as well. If they could keep up that kind of graphical fidelity, I think that game would be probably one of the better looking games that we've ever seen. Now, we have to kind of wait and see what happens there, but it's very interesting, to say the least, to kind of look at what's going on with Hellblade, as we got a gameplay teaser or a trailer. Hellblade 2 was one of the first confirmed Xbox Series X exclusives, and it was announced during the Game Awards in 2019. Obviously, if Hellblade 1 is anything to go by, the new game will have you take control of the same character, Senua, and guide her through some kind of quest and stuff like that. Now, the original game I wasn't a big fan of. I thought that maybe it should have just been a traditional, more hack and slash type game, and it was really more of a very linear, and you had like looking puzzles and things like that. It just wasn't my type of thing, and I didn't particularly think that the actual gameplay part was, what I mean, to actually, I didn't think that it was able to actually go out there and, and fight and have that kind of real fluid fighting like what they're known for. I mean, they did DMC5, so I would have thought that it would have been something along those lines, which was really good action in my opinion. And I'm hoping that Hellblade 2 goes more traditional with the actual traditional kind of gameplay. So even though Hellblade 2 is one of the first games we learned about for the Xbox Series X, we honestly haven't learned much about it since that point. At the game showcase in July, on July 23rd last year, Microsoft confirmed that the game will take place in Iceland, but there's not much information to kind of go off from there. They were still scouting locations and stuff like that. The trailer was mostly kind of this weird, moody thing, focusing on Senua undergoing some sort of intense ritual, and basically just kind of showcasing what the Xbox Series X would be able to do. It's a cinematic teaser, so we kind of get the idea of what to expect, and it looks great, to be honest. I mean, everybody's like, whoa, but I do say one thing when it comes to these type of things. We always get fooled by all these companies when they show these quote-unquote cinematic trailers, and they end up really kind of letting us down when they finally do release. Now, the interesting part to this was, and one of the things that I noticed right away was, they say, okay, well, this is a cinematic trailer. I get that. That's cool. But the funny part is, this game is being made on Unreal Engine 5, which isn't even coming out until the end of this year. So while they can work on the game on Unreal Engine 4 and just port it over, there's still going to be some work involved and stuff like that. So we don't know how far they've come with this game or when they're going to actually be able to release this game or anything like that. But just very interesting to kind of take a look at that and go, oh, okay, well, it does look good. If this game holds up and ends up looking as good as what we've seen here in this trailer, it could definitely be in the top 5 for best graphics for sure. Now, if we go and we look at what Ratchet and Clank was able to do, we did see the state of play where, you know what I mean? I think that that's something that we could see tangibly actually released on the PlayStation 5. Now, this is where Sony really kind of goes into it, in sort of a different kind of way, because they're actually releasing stuff showcased on their next generation console, whereas Microsoft hasn't really done that. I mean, you could say in engine, but that's really could be like PC footage on an engine, something along those lines. And even when you see their trademarks, some game like Halo Infinite, right, we have yet to see that game run on an Xbox, right? They released some new screenshots or whatever, and it's like super high-end PC. And you could mod up and fix up Halo 3 to look that good in screenshots. You know what I'm saying? On a high-end PC. So I'm not really sold on that game per se, but when we look at Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, all the stuff that's going on, it really just goes to show how these companies are kind of different, but still delivering in completely different types of games, mind you. One of them is more realistic. One of them is like Pixar, but above Pixar quality. Absolutely blows my mind. And the amount of FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out, that I saw after we saw the state of play with the new Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was incredible. The game actually has increased in terms of what they've been able to do and what they've been able to accomplish. And the funny thing is as far as I can tell, they've done such a fantastic job with actually getting this game to look better than what we'd seen previously, as obviously it was a work in progress. And they've just done a really good job of kind of making this game look like something that maybe we never thought we'd get. I can remember years ago, like in the early 2000s, people were saying things like, oh, well, maybe one day, the epitome of games will be when they look like, a Pixar movie like Toy Story or whatever. And now we're seeing that if you go back and look at the original Toy Story, we're way past that point with stuff like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and it looks absolutely incredible with what they've been able to do. And listen, a lot of people dislike me because they think that I don't like cartoon graphics, or that I don't like this, or I don't like that. The sad truth of the matter is this. For a long time, all Microsoft were putting out were these low-budget, AA kind of cartoony games. If that's all you're going to do, it doesn't matter what company you are, that's pretty much half-assing it, and I'm not a fan of that. If you're putting out stuff like Ratchet and Clank, which has always been quality, then, and you're putting that stuff out next to your other AAAs, there's no problem. You're going to have your more realistic games with like Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok. So Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart fits in there nicely. If all you're doing is releasing these type of, cartoon stuff, and it's low budget like how Microsoft was doing, I think that's a bit of a problem, because you need, the main course, the side dish, the dessert. You need all of that stuff, and it just doesn't seem like that Microsoft was able to do that. Hopefully they're going to be able to do that in the future. Hellblade 2 looks like to be, a more realistic, definitely graphical fidelity, really cool looking game, and I'm excited to see where that kind of goes in the future. Obviously, that could sit really well next to, some of their other more realistic stuff like Halo and Gears, and, we could get even more, maybe Perfect Darks there, but we're not going to be able to see Perfect Dark for years, so it's going to be really hard telling what we're going to be able to do. So I do think that that we're going to see some incredible things from both these companies. Both these are different graphical styles, but both look incredible. Like, if Microsoft can match what we're seeing here, you got a top 5 thing. But the thing is that still blows me away is that's a 12 teraflop beast / monster, whatever you want to call it. And you look at what Sony's able to do, and Sony's just able to go out there and just put out these amazing looking games like Ratchet and Clank with less power. Supposedly, on paper, it's much less powerful. So we're seeing some incredible stuff. And I have to say, I'm not really surprised by it because, like I said, Sony, their developers really, really know what they're doing. I think that they've done a fantastic job with, all their stuff. Going back to even last generation, you look at Ghost of Tsushima on a 1.8 teraflop PlayStation 4. There's no way that game should look so much better than anything Microsoft put out on an Xbox One X. There's no way that should be possible. God of War from 2018, Spider-Man from 2018. These games just looked absolutely incredible. Their developers just seem like they're so much more in tune with the hardware, whereas Microsoft seem like they're kind of fumble and bumble around and don't really know what they're doing. So yeah, very interesting to say the least, and I love seeing kind of these kind of comparison things. And I know some of you guys like the comparison videos and stuff like that. I would love your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal, great. I really do appreciate it. I know things are kind of rough right here, but the ones that do stick it out and that appreciate what I've been doing, it means the world to me. So thank you guys very, very much, and hopefully you guys have a great day and all that kind of good stuff. If you're new to the channel, I'm Crapgamer, and this is Crapgamer Reviews. I would appreciate a like, a share, subscribe, any of that kind of stuff, really, or none of it. It doesn't really matter. I'm doing it. I'm having fun. It sort of is what it is. Have a fantastic day. Take care of each other. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Game on, my friends. Game on. As always, rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.
Unscripted.